What I want to touch upon is actually around digital transformation and how enterprises or large organizations are embarking on this journey, right? So if you look at today, most organizations are at different stages of their digital transformation journey. And the cloud has played an integral part in this journey. It has helped organizations get access to the latest technology, tap into new sources of data, but more importantly, lower their infrastructure operating costs. However, despite the growth of cloud in the past decade or so, in the majority of organizations, only 10 to 20% of their workloads have actually moved to the cloud, specifically the public cloud. And if you look at the characteristics of this workload that has moved across to the public cloud, it is one, consumer-driven or customer experience workloads like chatbots and digital shopping carts. Two, they are mostly standalone or siloed applications that do not interact with other applications. And three, they deal with data that is non-sensitive or not of high value. The more complex, mission-critical, and data-sensitive workloads, such as customer databases and transaction processing, have not moved to the cloud. And this is especially true for highly regulated industries such as healthcare and banking, where the highest proportion of workloads have not moved to the cloud. And if you think about it, right, the 80% that has not moved across to the cloud, the more complex and data-rich workloads is actually where the real enterprise value resides. So let's take a look at what's holding back these organizations from moving workloads across to the cloud, right? And it boils down to three critical reasons. The first is many of these enterprises, particularly the ones in the regulated industry, have got very strict security and compliance requirements that doesn't allow them to simply move data and workloads to the public cloud. So for example, a financial institution can put their marketing data on the public cloud, but probably not okay for them to move their customer-sensitive data outside the firewall. The second is around the reality of things today is that we are living in a multi-cloud world. 94% of enterprises are using 2 or more cloud service providers to fulfill or accomplish their business goals. And the world is also hybrid. That means that you have different parts of a single application or service residing on a public cloud, on a private cloud, as well as a traditional IT on-premise system. Let me give you an example. If you take a look at financial institutions, most financial institutions would have a chatbot that provides answers to frequently asked questions related to their products or services. And that chatbot is potentially hosted on public cloud. Now, let's think about extending the functionality of the chatbot to include, let's say, balance inquiry. Now you would have to integrate that chatbot sitting on a public cloud and integrate it with a customer database on a private cloud to authenticate the user, as well as integrate with a transaction processing system hosted on a mainframe on-premise to provide the balance information. So things can get complex very quickly. And the third is around, and I feel is actually the biggest barrier to embracing cloud is, I think, is the lack of relevant skills in organization that understand both the cloud the cloud world, the cloud native world, and the traditional IT world. Most enterprises, right, do not have in-house expertise to take on tasks such as application modernization. And if you look at think about the talk that was earlier on DevOps. Take, for example, DevOps, right? A deployment pipeline in a traditional IT world is based on source code at every stage of testing, staging, and production. This is very different from a pipeline deploying a immutable container image in a cloud-native world. So, which brings me to how IBM is helping organizations address these challenges and complexity. It starts with being open, and open on multiple fronts. Open standards like containers and Kubernetes gives you a consistent way to build and deploy applications on any cloud provider, on-prem or off-prem. So for example, if there are changes in the security requirements or policy or compliance requirements, or if there are changes in the vendor pricing of the infrastructure, you now have the flexibility to move that workload freely to any infrastructure that you want, whether it's on-prem or off-prem. Open source is also the foundation for speeding innovation. The concept that all of us are smarter than any one of us makes sense. You cannot have this pace of innovation without a collective development effort, right? In IBM, we truly believe that the open approach far outweighs the benefits of a proprietary software approach, even in emerging technologies like quantum computing. The third is around, you need to have open access to data anywhere in a secure way on any cloud, on-prem or off-prem. And seamless access to data is critical to the broad adoption of AI across the enterprise. So, which brings me to my question for the audience here. What do you think is the single most important technology that is the foundation for open? Okay. This one. Well, in IBM, we believe Linux is the foundation for open. For more than 20 years, Linux has been the driving force and the underlying platform for many of the successful open source projects and standards that you see today. The majority of workload on AWS, Azure, Google is on Linux. Linux is also the #1 platform used by developers. And let's just face it, right? Containers are Linux. And here, Red Hat is clearly the leader with more than 70% market share in commercial Linux distribution. And next to Google, Red Hat is also the second largest contributor to the Kubernetes open source project, which is the basis for the Red Hat OpenShift container platform. And this is why, with that in mind, IBM has standardized the foundation for its next generation hybrid multi-cloud platform on RHEL and OpenShift. Today, more than 100 IBM software products and middleware are certified to run as containers on OpenShift. OpenShift is also available as managed service on the IBM Cloud for the enterprise. Now, this foundation gives you 3 things for customers. One, you can build and modernize once on any infrastructure, on any cloud platform, and deploy them anywhere. 2, you can innovate anywhere with any new technology that's made available on any infrastructure or cloud service provider. And 3, you can move the workload freely across to any infrastructure, whether it's from on-prem to off-prem because changes in security or policy requirements, or between multiple different cloud providers due to changes in pricing. So now that you have this robust foundation that enables choice with consistency, you also need a set of capabilities that supports the different stakeholders in an organization to accelerate the digital transformation. Here, I've got these roles here. If you look at a developer needs the ability to quickly build and deploy applications on any cloud provider or infrastructure on-prem without having to worry about standing up the different tools, runtimes, or frameworks on these different infrastructures. A data scientist needs to focus on analyzing data patterns and building data models instead of spending 80% of his time looking for the right data or ensuring the completeness of the data or the veracity of the data. You need to make it easy for integration architect to securely integrate applications and data across multiple cloud providers, on-prem or off-prem, without really having to understand how the different endpoints talk to each other or work with each other. Business analysts need the ability to automate tasks and infuse AI into the business process without needing to understand low-level coding or machine learning models. And finally, operations administrators need the ability to manage both the cloud-native world and the traditional IT world in a consistent and seamless way. And this is why IBM has just released IBM Cloud Packs, which is a set of enterprise container software designed to accelerate digital transformation in support of the different stakeholders that you'll find in an organization, right? Each Cloud Pack comes built in with Red Hat OpenShift and has a set of capabilities curated to address that specific domain or use case. So for example, here, IBM Cloud Pack for Application comes with a comprehensive set of tools, runtime, and frameworks from open source, IBM, and Red Hat to accelerate the end-to-end DevOps process in a secure way. And here, with some of the customers, we are seeing the reduction in development time up to 84% by reducing the computing required, as well as accelerating the throughput of the CI/CD pipeline. Now, I won't be touching each of the Cloud Packs in detail, but I would encourage you to step across to the IBM booth outside to find out more. But here are the 5 Cloud Packs we've released so far. There'll be more Cloud Packs will be released in a gradual manner to address different domains and use cases. Now, while each of the Cloud Packs provides great value on its own, there are critical common attributes across every Cloud Pack that I think even provides even more tremendous value. And let me talk about that, right? First, with Cloud Packs, you do not have to have every team member who are working on containers to have deep expertise in deploying and managing container production scale container workloads in a hybrid multi-cloud world. The workload-specific expertise and best practice is already captured within the Cloud Pack container image and configuration to simplify the deployment and management of those container workloads with high availability and reliability. 2, with Cloud Packs, you don't require large teams of people with different skills to operate different management tools of different workloads across different infrastructures. Every container that is deployed using Cloud Pack leverages a consistent way of authentication, a consistent way of logging, a consistent way of monitoring. And finally, with Cloud Pack, you don't need a team of 100 or more just to make sure that every piece of software in the end-to-end stack is compatible with each other, has got the most recent update or security patch. IBM certifies and supports the end-to-end stack in Cloud Packs all the way from the infrastructure to the foundation into each and every software component that you find in each of the Cloud Pack. Which actually now brings me to the end of the presentation. As I said, 15 minutes. I'll get you out. So in summary, right? With Cloud Paks, organizations can accelerate the way they build, modernize, and manage applications in a consistent way on any infrastructure, whether it's on-prem or off-prem or any cloud service provider. Thank you for listening. If you have more questions, there's a booth outside. Like I said, you can find more information there. I'll be around after the session if you have any questions, or you can check out the website to find out more as well. Thank you.